With only 3 races remaining in the season, it's really getting towards crunch time in the championship. However, all eyes this weekend were on Max Verstappen, who would take his one race for Red Bull, as agreed earlier in the season, as Jean-Luc Vergne was demoted for one race back to Toro Rosso. Nico Rosberg was openly frustrated with losing the lead on the final lap of the Russian Grand Prix, saying that the move that Josh Taylor pulled off on him was one of the most dangerous and reckless he had ever seen. Taking a look at the qualifying grid for the United States Grand Prix, and Josh Taylor would take his first ever career pole position, dominantly, almost half a second clear of Nico Rosberg in second. Buemi lines up in third in the other Williams, with Lewis Hamilton down in fourth as the lead Ferrari. Daniel Kvyat winning impressive fifth, with Valtteri Bottas for the second race in a row, starting from P6. Max Verstappen lined up in seventh for Red Bull, ahead of Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. Sergio Perez will start from P9, and Jean-Luc Vergne in the Toro Rosso completes the top 10. Taking a look down the rest of the grid, Nico Hülkenberg will just miss out on a place in Q3 and he'll start from 11th, with Marcus Ericsson in 12th for Sauber. Carmen Jordan will start 13th for Lotus, with Carlos Sainz having another mediocre qualifying in 14th. Fernando Alonso would once again make it through to Q2, qualifying in 15th. Joseph Krell in 16th for Lotus. Adrian Sutil 17th. Stoffel Van Dorn 18th. Alex Rossi getting ahead of his teammate in front of the home crowd. And Will Stevens completes the grid. Hey guys, Tara here. Welcome back to UniONE, this time round 16, the United States Grand Prix. This time we take our first ever career pole position, lining up with a dominant pole position time ahead of Nico Rosberg in second. But now coming to the fire red lights, can we make the most of our pole position, convert it into a race win. Lights out and away we go. We actually get a pretty good start there alongside Nico Rosberg. Rosberg once again will have the momentum, of course, with a better start, better clutch system on the Mercedes. Now we can force him over to the inside. Rosberg has to back out of it because there's no way we're giving enough room to make around the corner there. Now Buemi trying to get up in second, but now he's going side by side with Nico Rosberg in second. Seems Buemi really hasn't had the best second half of the season, and pretty much has dropped off the pace, but this race he really does look to be on it. Now going side by side with Nico Rosberg for second. It's like Buemi's have to settle in behind the Mercedes for the time being. We've seen, well, the last race we saw is Bottas, he wasn't very happy with us, and now this time it's Nico Rosberg. So Rosberg once again trying to get one over us this weekend in this race. Yeah, the DRS, the back straight here, is pretty powerful. The Williams has done pretty well here in the past few seasons. In 2013 when the car was completely diabolically slow, Bottas managed to hold down a P7 then. So Bottas knows his race pretty well, but now Rosberg gaining in the slipstream of us. We defend to the inside, but Rosberg has to look now around the outside of us, now coming up into heavy braking for the end of the straight. Rosberg runs out wide, and that gives Buemi an opportunity to go through. Now Buemi going side by side now with Nico Rosberg, trying to hold it now around the outside. But Rosberg just going to force Buemi out wide, so Buemi has to slot back down into P3. Mr. Sebastian Vettel just behind in P4. Well, actually that'd be Lewis Hamilton, because Hamilton had the much better qualifying, so that's Hamilton in P4, with Vettel having the bad qualifying this time around. Now going further on to lap 3. Taking a look now back after teammate Sebastian Buemi. Now we've managed to pull a small gap on Nico Rosberg, and we know how insanely fast this Williams is in a straight line. So if Rosberg hasn't got DRS in the back of us, he's pretty much going to be sitting duck to Sebastian Buemi in the Williams. Now gaining in the slipstream with DRS open. See, massively gaining there on the Mercedes. Now pulling to the inside off Nico Rosberg, and trying to get us ahead even for the braking zone. So now it's a Williams 1-2, and if we hold this, it'll be first Williams 1-2 since France 2003, over 12 years ago, since Williams last took a 1-2 finish. And how great that would be if we take it here today. Now Lewis Hamilton just sticking behind Nico Rosberg for the time being. In the Ferraris, they have a pretty good race pace around here compared to the Mercedes, and the Williams look pretty decent as well, to be honest. So let's see if we can make the most of it. If the Mercedes can keep their track position, or if Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, if he can get his act together, can get anywhere close to the Ferraris. See, Vettel's now finally starting to catch us back. This queue, we've still got one of the Red Bulls trying to keep with us here. I imagine that's probably Daniel Kvyat. And Vettel's still got quite a gap to catch yet, if he's to catch anywhere near his teammate and the team Mercedes, or even get anywhere close to the win. But Hamilton's starting to stick behind Rosberg for the time being. They're cutting a bit further on. Now Rosberg's turn to try and gain back now on the Williams. Sebastian Buemi now have DRS, and I see he's gaining instantly on the back of the Williams. Now Rosberg's going to look to the inside of our teammate Sebastian Buemi. Buemi's going to try and hold it now around the outside, but Rosberg looks to move ahead even for the braking. Let's be a bit of contact there. Rosberg getting very forceful with the Williams of Buemi. Maybe he thought it was me and not Buemi. Still, Rosberg being very forceful so far, trying to get back second place. Of course, with how crucial it is in the championship, every point counts at this moment. Every point, every position counts. You want to get the best you can. Try and get one. Of course, Rosberg is currently leading ahead of Vettel and Bottas and Hamilton, so Rosberg wants to maximise his opportunity, maximise his points advantage going into the final 2 races after this and see the best result that you can. Now Hamilton pits. Hamilton coming in for very early pit stops. Hamilton trying an undercut. We saw he tried it in Japan where it didn't work out there. So is it going to work this time round? No, he's coming into pit. Surely he's doing a 1-stop. If he goes on to a set of medium tyres, then he's doing a 1-stop, but if he doesn't, then he isn't. Now he does go into a set of medium tyres, so Hamilton is doing a 1-stop in this race. Now whereabouts is he going to come out? Because there's a few of the cars coming in. There'll also be one of the Red Bulls and a Force India coming in behind as well. So that's Verstappen in the Red Bull, but don't know which Force India that was. And now here comes Lewis Hamilton coming out of tail. There goes one of the Manners. Now where's the other one? He's going to get still behind him. Now going side by side with the Manor. Forces the Manor out wide. Getting very physical with the Manor. Forces the Manor off of the track. But Hamilton had to do that to keep ahead there of the Manor, not to be held up once again and make that undercut not work. But it depends if he catches up to the other Manor in this lap and how much he gets held up by it. If he does in fact get held up by it. Now cutting on your lap 5, we're telling our pit crew that we're coming at the end of this lap now to go to a set of medium tyres to go to the end of this race, because the soft tyres really don't last. Just going to hope that the mediums do. Now coming into the pits now to make our one and only stop now onto a set of the medium tyres. Looks like no one else follows in. Actually, one of the Mercedes does follow us in. So our teammate, the other Mercedes, and I don't know about Sebastian Vettel because he's quite some way behind, doesn't pit. Looks like the Ferrari picked her out, so it looks like Vettel is going to stop in this lap as well. Thankfully, we don't get held up by the Ferrari this time, and we should come out ahead of the Mercedes, or what is probably Nico Rosberg. Now coming out to pits, the question is, where's Lewis Hamilton going to be? There goes one of the Lotuses. That's not Lewis Hamilton. There goes the team McLaren's holding up massively one of the Saubers. Lewis Hamilton. Now Hamilton's now going side by side with Nico Rosberg. Rosberg makes contact with Lewis Hamilton, forcing him off the track. But Rosberg holding his side by side now with Lewis Hamilton, of course, the ex-teammates from last season. Now Hamilton is just going to squeeze through now up the inside, and now Hamilton has managed to make that undercut work on Nico Rosberg. And thankfully, he hasn't actually got a puncture from that contact there. We've seen punctures for much less than that, so Hamilton there very lucky to get away without a puncture there from that contact with Nico Rosberg. Now Rosberg will have DRS now coming down this straight, but has he got enough to gain on Lewis Hamilton? Because Hamilton won't have DRS off the car in front, because the car in front, which is probably the Sauber, actually no, it's probably us because we're behind the Sauber, is not within 1 second. So now has this Mercedes got enough straight line speed on the Ferrari to try and get past it, now gaining in the slipstream? But Rosberg's gaining nowhere near enough, so Lewis Hamilton must have the engine turned right up there, but Rosberg has to stick behind Lewis Hamilton for the time being. Now looking back on us, we've now caught up to this train of the two McLarens and then Adrian Sutil in the Sauber. Of course, these are all yet to stop. Now just the more we hold these up, the more this is going to allow Vettel and Hamilton to catch up to us. So currently Peter now looking, I'm back on the replay cam, going side by side now with the Sauber of Adrian Sutil, force Sutil out wide. Of course, we can't afford to lose any time to these back market cars. Now we're going to follow one of the McLaren's round, because the McLaren's not double stacking. It's probably Van Dorn again, so Van Dorn probably wants to lead another lap of the race, which he's done quite a few times this season already. And coming up the hill, here out comes our teammate Sebastian Buemi ahead of the other Mercedes still. Now Buemi coming out side by side with one of the Sauber, again very physical there, was getting spun out there by the Sauber. That's allowing Lewis Hamilton and Rosberg to come out of nowhere. And out of nowhere, Rosberg moves back ahead now of Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari, and now looking all over the place now to try and make a move on the Sauber, of course, because the Sauber pretty much unofficially a Ferrari B team, pretty much what they pretty much always have been. So I imagine Adrian Sutil is going to try and hold up that Ferrari, the Mercedes, as much as possible. Now Van Dorn once again is leading the Grand Prix for McLaren. It's pretty much this is the first lap they've led since 2012, if you don't count, well, Japan as well. It's the first lap they've led since 2012, pretty much showing how diabolical their cars have been ever since. Now looking further back now is Nico Rosberg gaining in the slipstream now in the back of Sauber. Now fastest Sauber is in a straight line, with no match for Mercedes with DRS. Now Rosberg going to pull to the inside now of the German. Can Sutter try and hold it now around the outside? He's going to try and hold it. Rosberg hasn't completed the move. And Sutter's going to try and hold it now around the outside, is he? Yeah, Sutter has put up some great fights. Now Sutter can try and hold it now around the inside lines. We've got the racing line, but Rosberg just has the downforce, has the momentum around the outside to move ahead of the Sauber. Now we move up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Van Dorn second, and Buemi, crucially, got ahead of the Sauber earlier on. So he moves it coming in P3. Now looking back now at one of the Mercedes gaining in the station now on the Ferrari in front. So I imagine that's Bottas on the back of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's starting to drop off now from the back of Nico Rosberg in the Mercedes. Now we've got the other Ferrari, Sebastian Vettel, just behind in fourth, with one of the Red Bulls, the Kvyat, still keeping very close to these two. So Kvyat once again having a great outing, really overperforming what that Red Bull is capable of to try and keep ahead. Try and do the best he can. Well, he's got one win this season, of course, because he has the momentum there to try and get another one. You've seen that he's actually keeping with the Ferraris and the Mercedes in a Red Bull that's average so far to be about 1.5 seconds off the pace of everyone else. Looking back, Valtteri Bottas now gaining. Hamilton's getting very slow. Hamilton's got a puncture. Hamilton's got a puncture. Oh, that's crucial for the championship. He's being overtaken by absolutely everyone. Now Hamilton has to do half a lap now with the puncture. And I imagine that's from the contact with Nico Rosberg as Rosberg came out of the pace. You see there, Rosberg being very forceful so far. I've seen there making contact with Buemi, and as now I would say give Hamilton a puncture, and I'll probably show that's taking him out of the championship fight. And now he's going to be down at the back. This is going to be a no scoring points race for Lewis Hamilton unless 11 cars to somehow DNF the race from now. It's possible, but it's very unlikely. So Hamilton Ferrari putting onto the set of soft tyres, sending him back out, but there's no way Hamilton's going to get points now from this race. Now cutting a bit further on, we're still in the lead. Got Nico Rosberg now gaining rapidly on us though. He's 4, you can see there, he's 4 seconds behind us, but he's rapidly gaining on us because our tyres now completely go off. Now cutting a bit further on, you've got Nico Rosberg now looking to the outside of us, gaining insulation. Rosberg's taking himself into the wall! Rosberg, what are you doing? So first Rosberg takes out Hamilton, and now he takes himself out, trying to take us out of the race. What is Rosberg doing? Rosberg is just trying to maldonate the entire field. Now, just completely cuts in front now Sebastian Buemi. Now Rosberg's facing in the complete wrong way. That's pretty much karma for trying to take us out just then. Now, that's pretty much ruined Rosberg's championship chances, I'd say, so that's pretty much karma for what he did to Hamilton as well. Now, Rosberg has to do an entire lap now without a front wing. And looking at a replay, as you can see here, Rosberg is clearly turning left into our rear wheel, trying to take us out, and then he rebounds off of our rear wheel, hits the wall, and loses his front wing completely. So I don't know what Rosberg was doing. His whole last race he was pretty unhappy with our driving. Well, I think I get the right to be pretty unhappy with Rosberg's driving there, trying to take us out. Now cutting a bit further on, onto the final lap. We've got Bottas now trying to look up the inside now. Also Sebastian Buemi in the Williams. Now Buemi's going to try and hold it around the outside, is he? A bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. Because Mercedes is getting very physical this race. They're going to keep it side by side, are they? Now Buemi's going to try and hold it around the outside of Bottas. Bottas breaks out. Bottas backs out of that. Slots back down into P2, of course, probably waiting for DRS. Now we've got the other Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel just behind, waiting in the wings if anything happens with these two. Now Bottas coming through the S section, there's no way he can make a move here on the back of Sebastian Buemi. He doesn't have to wait for the DRS straight. I imagine that Williams will have turned Buemi's engine up to the max here to try and keep this 1-2 and take Williams' first 1-2 in 12 years. But now we've got one straight left to hold on, because if Buemi holds it down here, then he's pretty much got P2 sealed. Vettel has dropped off the back of them there, surprisingly through the S section. Now Bottas gaining in the slipstream on the back of Buemi. He's going to try and hold it now, but Buemi's going to pull to the outside. Bottas can try and hold it now under braking. Bottas moves right ahead. So Bottas now moves up into P2, locks up slightly, but Buemi just can't make the most of it. And starts back down and has settled for P3. But now we're coming around the final corner to win the USA Grand Prix and take a third victory of the season for Williams. Taking a look at the race results, we would take the win. 5.5 seconds clear of Sebastian Buemi, finishes in second. So we take the first Williams 1-2 since France 2003. And Sebastian Vettel completing the podium. Valtteri Bottas finishes down in fourth. You can see those times in red, so Bottas clearly had a penalty of some sort. So that can be crucial in the championship there, as Vettel comes out with the lead points from this. And Williams take a 1-2, so I'm not complaining about that. Sergio Perez with a very impressive fifth for Force India, with Jean-Eric Vergne in sixth. back at Toro Rosso for one race, beating his one race teammate Carlos Sainz. Joseph Krell comes home in 8th for Lotus, with Marcus Ericsson in 9th for Sauber. Daniel Kvyat drops all the way down to P10. What happened to Kvyat? With Nico Hülkenberg in 11th, and Fernando Alonso riding off the point scorers in 12th for McLaren, so something's clearly happened there, and a lot of the midfield team has clearly benefited from whatever happened. So I had a look on the race director at what happened, and you can see there, Valtteri Bottas has a penalty for ignoring yellow flags. You can look at what Bottas got his penalty for. As you can see there, the flag is flashing green. And you see there, coming up to the next one on the left, that one isn't flashing, so as far as Bottas knew, now coming up into turn 1, missed a very late dive on the inside of Sebastian Vettel. You see there Rosberg spinning on the side of the track, but Bottas makes the move there on Sebastian Vettel. So that's a pretty harsh decision from the shoes in my opinion. There's no yellow flags flashing, so how was Bottas meant to see Rosberg at the top of the track? And another thing I want to point out is I forgot to make the points tables for the end of this race before doing Mexico, because I've got the whole season recorded. But working back from the points tables after the next race, I'm pretty sure that after this results after this race, that Vettel and Bottas are joint top at the championship standings. So that's been the United States Grand Prix. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the race, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all next time.